Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dana Lopez, the Director of Marketing and Communications for the Inn. Welcome to Inn Gratitude, where we spotlight people that have supported the Inn and we give them a chance to tell their wonderful stories of what they've done. So this is our fourth installment of Inn Gratitude. I'm really excited that we've been able to do this. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Todd Weinstein. Todd, thank you so much for joining me and talking to me today. I'm going to set this up for you, Todd, because I love this story, and then I'm going to just let you take it away. Todd has done some really wonderful and special things for the Inn in a little bit of a different way. So a lot of us are on social media. Probably people will be watching this on social media right now, particularly Facebook. And when we're on Facebook, if we're on Facebook, we might be a part of a Facebook group for whatever piques our interest. It might be a parenting group. It might be a group where you can find recipes for your air fryer. It might be a group where, kite flying, whatever you decide that you like to do. Now, Todd was also on Facebook a few years ago and decided that there was something missing. And Todd is the founder and lead admin of the Facebook group Nice Things That Happen in East Meadow. So Todd, why don't you just tell us a little bit about why you started the group and what it's all about?
Sure thing. And first and foremost, thank you very much for having me. I'm very honored and humbled that you're considering our group for your podcast. Thank you. The way we got started was about 5.5 years ago, over the summer. It just so happens, you're just scrolling through your feed, and one of the local, we'll call them the moms pages, where they're almost like community bulletin boards where people ask questions and complain and talk about different things. And in one particular case, there was a person posted something about a bad experience at a local bagel shop. And rather than talk to the store manager, rather than go back to the store, they just made a really negative post about this particular merchant. And when I saw it go through, I said, really, just having worked in retail and food services, in the beginning part of my career, I knew that any store is going to address a consumer concern. But instead, there were hundreds of comments about a bad turkey sandwich. And I'm saying, well, what's the end game for all this? Why would somebody feel the need to destroy somebody's business just by making negative comments? I mean, well, this particular business was a member of the Chamber of Commerce, a Little League sponsor, a PTA sponsor, active with the Girl Scouts. Like, this is a good run business in the community. And like I said, people were just so negative about a turkey sandwich. And I kept saying, well, what's the end game for all this? I mean, would you be happy if the guy went out of business and we had a vacant storefront, in the community? So I was so frustrated by it that I said, why don't we come up with a page that can be a beacon for good community activity? We could celebrate our children. We could celebrate the activities in the schools. We could celebrate community helpers. We could celebrate the businesses who are doing good things in the community. And that's really how it got started about 5.5 years ago. And when we got started, we keep getting new members every day. We're up to over 3,200 members. And it's not that it's just, anybody that wants to come in. It's got to have a real tie to our community. So either you got to live here, work here, play here, or have some sort of connection to East Meadow to really be part of our group. And everybody's just so additive and everybody's just so positive. And it's been great. It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. And even though I said I'm the founder and the admin, I'm nothing without the over 3,200 people that celebrate us and follow what we do each day.
Yeah, that 3,200 members, that's unbelievable. I think that's amazing. That means that you weren't the only one that was frustrated with the negativity. I mean, I imagine also that throughout 2020, throughout everything that everybody's been going through, they probably need your group now more than ever, So I think it's really amazing. I love the idea that sort of the thought that went behind it and the strength in the community. So what's interesting about Nice Things That Happen in East Meadow and I read the rules of the group, no politics, no negativity, no complaining. I think that sometimes I imagine sometimes people will go to the group just to get some of the positivity and stay away from a little bit of the stuff that they've been having to deal with, especially in this past year. But the reason why you're here today is because you not only decided to talk about nice things that happen in East Meadow, you decided to create some nice things yourself, and that's where the Inn comes in. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got introduced to the Inn and what we've done together?
Sure. So it's funny. It's funny how this got started. So it's got to be, I don't know, maybe over five, almost 6 years, maybe 5.5 years ago. And we started the group. I think we had about 400 followers at the time. And a friend of mine who was, born and bred in East Meadow and raising his family here, Ben Diamond, he came to me one Friday night and said, I want to help, the Inn with their back to school supply drive. This is something you guys have been doing for a while. And I want to see if we could use your group to do it. So he and I spoke about it a little bit. I said, sure, yeah, that'd be great. So that was Friday night. Okay. That's following Saturday morning. I'm scrolling through my Facebook feed. And just the first thing that pops up, I don't know if this is like a Facebook mind trick or something, but it's a story about a particular teacher in Texas where a complete stranger buys her whole shopping cart full of school supplies because she's buying school supplies out of her own money because her district, doesn't have the means or resources to provide for her. So that's Saturday. Okay. The following, that next Sunday, I'm in Philadelphia of all places, seeing a baseball game. Now I'm a Met fan, but we just happen to be going to a Phillies game. And with that, the giveaway when you walk in is every kid under the age of 15 gets a little school supply kit with Phillies pencils and pens and notepads and rulers. And I said, wow, I said, this is some higher ground. Something is speaking to me, something saying, hey, you got to do this.
No accident.
So we did it. We did it. And the response was just amazing. I mean, the first go around, I mean, you remember you were there, and people just responded. I had people dropping off, everything from, notebooks and pens and rulers and backpacks to crayons and you name it. I mean, just stuff just coming in. So that was the first year. And then the second year we did it, I reached out to our friends at Stu Leonard's. They were just opening up their new store in East Meadow. And for those of you that don't know about Stu Leonard's, it's a local dairy grocery that is very, very hyper involved with the community. And they're just very, very great, community partners. And I said to them, hey, you're opening up this new store. Let's see if we can kind of help each other. I said, if you could, they were giving out these little ice cream tokens where if you get a free cup or cone of soft serve. So I said, if you want to help us out, I said, I'd love to give these tokens to people. They bring in for the ice cream, then you spend $100 in groceries there. So they're really smart merchants. So we wound up giving everybody a token for an ice cream cup or cone to anybody that participated in this back to school supply drive. And again, it was just wonderful. And one thing you did to me, Dana, and you put a lot of pressure on me, and you probably don't even remember this, but you called me once and you said, well, hey, when are you dropping off the stuff? And I said, well, I'll probably come by, a week from Friday or something. And you said to me, well, if you can come in a little earlier, we really need your stuff. And I said, and that just weighed on me. I said, wow, I'm like, we went from, trying to help out to being relied upon. And that was a lot of weight. And it really meant a lot to us in the group to say, hey, we're doing something that's really, really making an impact. And that really, that really meant, really, like I said, it was pressure to a degree, but it was also very rewarding knowing that we're helping out, so many children, that need, the resource to go back to school. I mean, back to school season for any parent, I mean, you know how it
Yeah.
is so difficult between, getting off the summer to the routines, to the shopping, to the clothing and the different change in the children and
Yeah.
having to do all that with no resources to food, to school supplies, to clothing. I mean, it's just got to be so difficult,
Yeah.
for that parent. So yeah, no, you
Absolutely.
put some pressure on us, but thankfully, East
Sorry.
Meadow community, we've been delivering. So
Absolutely.
thankfully it's been working out.
Well, I do want to point out that, when you do these school supply drives, you literally put out a notice to the group to say, drop off school supplies on the porch of your house. So you are collecting school supplies in front of your, people are basically like dropping stuff in a box and you're counting it and sorting it and bringing it over. And some people bring checks or cash if they don't want to, or they don't have the time or whatever the case, which is amazing also. So not only have you, I think it was like 1,000 school supply items that first year. It was unbelievable. I think that every town and every community needs a nice things Facebook group so they can do similar things. I think that's wonderful. I also wanted to point out that it didn't stop with the school supplies. There were a couple of other things that the group has done, and one of them was actually a really cool thing that you called EM 2020 Vision. What's that?
So when the year hit 2020, I had read somewhere, and I saw a news article about it, about a gentleman that was collecting socks around the holiday time, and socks and gloves, because those are two items that, when you talk about, around Christmas time, what do you hate to get? Socks and gloves. It's like under every tree, every child gets it, and they're really not happy to get it. So the big joke was, obviously those are so important, for somebody that's on the street, somebody who's, has got challenges. You think about it. I mean, this is going to sound so silly, but, when I announced this kickoff, I mean, within the drive, I happened to get a hole in my sock one day. And like all day long, it is just irritating. It's rubbing against your foot and you're so angry by it. And I said, wow, I'm like here, and I'll go home and I'll throw out that pair of socks and think nothing of it. But there are people that are going to live with holes in their socks, people, in the cold without gloves on. And, this gentleman had this goal of raising, 2020. And I said, well, that's something we can bring to our group. And again, same thing, we wound up doing it. So I put the challenge out to our group where, if we could do that, I said, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to raise, again, through the group, and I'm going to shop for socks. If people wanted to drop them off, great. If they're from out of town and they want to send a donation, I'm going to go to Walmart on Christmas Eve, dressed as Santa Claus, and I'm going to buy socks and gloves. And I'm sure you'll put the picture in
I
of
hope I
it.
can find
And
that.
and there I am, on Christmas Eve 2 years ago, year and a half ago, dressed as Santa Claus, buying several $100s worth of socks and gloves. And again, it's not that it was just me doing it. This is the efforts of the community. So again, of course I'm the face of the group, but I'm certainly not the group. And I'm nothing without the love and support and actions of what the community does. It's not me who's raising, $3,600 in toys. It's not me who's selling, 90 cases of chocolate. This is a community effort that
Right.
people just thankfully respond to.
That's great. That's great. Well, I am just, we're so grateful for everything that the group has been able to do for us. And the last thing that I know that we wanted to just talk about was the fact that, obviously through the pandemic, the group had to do some, I mean, I would have been surprised if the group hadn't done anything once the pandemic sort of hit and businesses were struggling. You are a business person yourself. So I'm sure that you had sort of a connection to some of the businesses in the area. And I know that you noticed, like many others, that some of the restaurants were struggling. And in response to that, the group sort of sprang into action as they do to support them. So what happened with that?
Right. So every Super Bowl, most people, if you're a Jet fan or a Giant fan, the Super Bowls haven't meant a lot in many, many years. But everybody does these box pulls, and they go around the office, and you basically pick a blind number, and you basically win money, towards it. And what we decided to do is, rather than just doing this for money, we said, let's do this for the local restaurants. So all the prize money that we collected was used for local restaurants. So basically what we did is, it's $25 a box. We didn't do it for the Super Bowl. We did it for the championship weekend. So we wanted to kind of separate ourselves from the hustle and bustle of the Super Bowl. We did it, 2 weeks prior. And everybody, contributed $25, and there were 100 boxes times 2. So you had 2 chances to win. We brought in $2,500. And of course, there were some donations that went with it as well. So of the $2,500, we took $2,200 of it, and we actually used that to buy gift cards in local restaurants that were members of our East Meadow Chamber of Commerce. So we went around to these restaurants that were, they were empty. We bought gift cards. Some of them, we told them what we were doing. They were shocked that we were willing to do it. A couple of them said to us, "Hey, we want to give you money towards it." I said, "No, no." I said, "I don't want your money." I said, "We want to support your restaurant." And like I said, I'm at La Novella on East Meadow Avenue, And the guy's trying to give me extra money. I said, no, I don't want your money. I said, I want to help support your business. A good story is Barstool Sports. This guy, Dave Portnoy, his connection, I don't know if you've seen him on, he's got does the pizza reviews, and he's a big social media figure, very, very polarizing gentleman, if you will. But what he did do is he's connected with Borelli's up on Hempstead Turnpike, the restaurant across the street from the Nassau Coliseum. And so Dave, in response to these restaurants, started this local charity drive where he's going to, sponsor some of these restaurants and solicit donations. And I think he's raised, I mean, it's several $1 million. It's a lot of $1 million. I'm going to have to check the last count. But basically what he was doing this drive to help. And the first restaurant he picked was Borelli's, because Frank Borelli's son actually works for Barstool, and that was the connection to East Meadow. So there's a restaurant in town called Garden Social. And these guys had a night where they were doing, if you buy a gift card, they would take 10% of anything that they brought in and they were going to give it to Barstool. So here's a struggling restaurant helping other struggling businesses. And I said, wow, I mean, that's amazing. So I reached out to Bob Russo at Garden Social. I said, hey, I got this group and we want to buy some gift cards. And they were just so touched by it. So again, we bought gift cards to Garden Social and, and Borelli's and the Apollo Diner and Colony Diner and all these, and Green Turtle and all these merchants that, again, are Little League sponsors and give to the PTAs. And they're so charitable that it was time that we helped them out. So what we're going to be doing is with March Madness, coming up soon with the NCAA basketball tournament, we're going to do it again. Because the interesting thing with our box pool for the championship, not only did we sell out in 2.5 days, but I had to turn away, almost, I think 15, 18 different people that still wanted to buy boxes. Yeah. So it was amazing that, again, I'm telling people, hey, I'm sorry, I'm all sold out. So someone said, hey, when are you going to do it again? You got to do it again. So I said, sure, we'll do it again. Yeah. So what we've done is, of that money that we brought in, again, the majority of it was meant to support the local East Meadow restaurants, but we did also give cash donations to the inn. There's a young woman named Molly that has a company called Drive Out Hunger, and then our American Legion Hall, because in East Meadow we love our veterans.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I just thought it was a really great thing that although the playoff box pool was not directed to the inn, that you still kind of thought about us and gave us a monetary donation, which was just a really wonderful thing to do, because we have this this relationship between Nice Things and the inn. So it's really just a great thing to be. It's an honor for us to be one of the beneficiaries of some of these amazing things that you are doing, you collectively in the group are doing. And I'm excited. I didn't know, this is new news for me that the March Madness is happening. So that's really great. And by the way, Borelli's is a supporter of the inn. They've done a few things for us also through the pandemic when they themselves were struggling, have helped the inn. So it is really an amazing thing to have your own struggle in your business, but still find a way to support people in the community. So there's something to be said about things like that. So I think, Borelli's in particular was definitely, they were all deserving participants, but I think that Borelli's has also a connection. Not sure if you knew that. So because they support us as well.
I mean, they're great. Yeah. I mean, I know they do. They do Thanksgiving stuff and Christmas stuff, mm-hmm. and now unfortunately with the social distancing, you can't have a packed restaurant, right. With to feed the needy, and that's tough too. So the challenges that have been going on this last, I mean, it's been almost a full year now. And, the problem is, everybody, so many people have suffered illnesses and losses and businesses and, God willing, the businesses recover, the economy recovers. But, the hunger issue, I mean, the hard part with that is, so much stuff goes on around the holidays and everybody seems to, get that, that debt of gratitude, during Thanksgiving, Christmas time. And, but hunger is a 52-week-a-year issue. It's a 365-day-a-year issue, and just because you gave somebody some canned goods on Friday doesn't mean that come Monday they're going to have the same issues with being challenged with that. So what you guys do is just so magical. it's incredible. I mean, and like I said, seeing what we've done in the East Meadow community, where our McVeigh Elementary School has set up a food pantry, and you say to yourself, wow, like, you always think of it as, oh, it's not happening in my neighborhood. Oh, it's not in my town. But knowing how, so many people are, really one paycheck away or two paychecks away from their whole life being turned upside down. And that's very, very, very scary. We did not do the school supply drive this past summer. Things were very, very uncertain. People, weren't really encouraged to get out as much because of the pandemic. And every day I'd get a new memory would pop up from people dropping off things or announcements made on the group. And I had a little touch of depression. I was a little upset. I'm like, wow, I'm like, we didn't do it this year. And, a couple of people asked me if we're going to do it. We didn't, I felt really badly that we weren't there to support, with people learning from home, and, there weren't, the need for supplies wasn't as much because the kids were remote. And we really felt pretty empty about it. So I'm glad we'll be doing it again this summer, because things
Me
seem like
too.
we've turned the corner, hopefully. And we'll definitely do it again. And I'll reach out to my friends at Stu Leonard's. And so if
Yeah.
they're listening, we're gonna hit you up again.
Yeah, we can
But like I said,
absolutely hope that it is a little bit closer to what we're used to this year than it was last year. That's really just the hope all around. So
yeah,
I just, we are so grateful for the community members in Nice Things That Happen in East Meadow. I love the idea of the group. I am an honorary member because I'm a part of the, and
you
I
are.
don't live in East Meadow, but I'm connected in that way. So I'm appreciative, and I appreciate that, and all of the folks there that just, that just want to do something good. And that's really what it's all about. So, Todd,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I'm so excited. So,
No, we just want to celebrate our town. I mean, look,
yeah.
every town on Long Island, there's what, 125 different school districts, and everybody, again, you're going to say Valley Stream's the best, and somebody else might say People or Belmore or Merrick, but we know that East Meadow is the best. But kidding aside, I mean, there's good in every town, and look, every town has their problems. I mean, there's frustrations, and there's things that we'd want to do better. And I've always said, you could rant on Facebook, and you could make these negative posts, but what good is that going to do? What good is complaining going to do about something unless you're going to help out?
Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I hope that, especially on social media, as people are on it more and more, that we take the example of groups like yours and lead with positivity rather than negativity. And hopefully it'll make us all a little bit better in the long run. So, so I just thank you again so much for talking to. I can talk to you all day. So, so thank you so much for talking to me. I can't wait to see what goes on in March and otherwise. And also, I'm really looking forward to the next school supply drive at the end of the summer, because it is definitely something that I look forward to personally, to see what the group is able to do. Everybody keep the pictures coming, and the videos, and all of the smiling faces of families with their children, and bringing things to your home and dropping it off. It's just it's such a wonderful example of what can be done when people just, have the desire to help. So thank you, Todd, and thank you, group. And, we'll definitely see you soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Todd. Take care.
Thank you. Yeah.